Go ahead and introduce yourself, who you help, and what you do.
Sure. So my name is Joanna Barbolla. I am currently working as a wine consultant for Scout and Cellar Wines based out of Texas. I spent many years in the wine business when I was still a New York City girl. I relocated to Florida about 6 years ago, and I changed careers a couple of times. I spent 30 years in corporate administration, then retired from there, relocated to Florida, started a second career in teaching, a third career in women's rights activism, and a fourth career in podcasting. But all along, I've been an artist, which is what you can see behind me, one of my images. And now I'm back in the wine industry and I'm selling my wine. So it's fun. It's fun. It's really fun. And with the wine and all the blogging that I did, I also started a book, my first self published book called Divulge D'VINO, which is right here. If anyone wants to see what it looks like, I guess you can't really see it. There we go.
Yeah, it's kind of hiding behind your
Yeah.
picture
Yeah.
there.
Um, so just got a lot of projects in the making. I'm working on a couple of other projects right now that I'm really excited about with my advocacy work. So yeah, I'm real excited, and I'm excited to be on your podcast. It was great to meet you not too long ago, so I'm happy that I'm here. I'm happy you asked me. Thank you.
So, how did you get into doing the selling wines? And
So when I was in New York City, as I told you, I spent 30 years in New York City. When I when I was still a little bit younger, I used to go to a lot of wine tasting events, and then through Meetup, and one of the Meetup owners asked me to host a couple of wine events. So then I started hosting all of his wine events, um, and then he, because I was his host, he got me into all of the wine trade events where they were open to only the trade, and they offered so many forums and classes and tastings, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. They were all over New York City. I took so many notes. I learned so much about wine, and then I started blogging about it. And I had members. I started a wine group, a wine networking group, and I had members that I would plan wine picnics with and wine dinners with, and um, my members loved my wine blogs. I had a new wine blog out probably once a week or so, from wines from different countries. And it was very global, and they really, really enjoyed it. So I did that for quite some time. And then I got busy with work, and I kind of put it on the side. And I said, okay, let me take a break from this for a little while. And then when I relocated to Florida, my schedule changed because I wasn't in the city anymore. I had more time. So then I turned it into my self published book. Yeah. Which I sell on Amazon.
yeah. So, how have you changed your networking strategy over time from when you were just starting out until now?
So the networking, well, it's a little different now. I have a lot more time, and I have a lot more things going on at home. I take care of a dog now, so I don't have as much freedom to go running all over the place. So I do a lot of online networking, which really makes it so much easier for me sometimes. You know, I get to meet really nice people, lovely women and men like yourself. And that I could, collaborate with and build relationships with. So I think when I was back in New York City, I really didn't do any online networking. But then this whole COVID pandemic started, and it changed the way people network. And you can just get so much more done by networking at home. I mean, if you have the time, you can do 3, 4 networking events in one day. but if you are driving to them, it's exhausting to do more than one or two. So I get a lot more coverage done. I get to meet a lot more people. I get to socialize more, and I'm not leaving my pet behind. So it really works out well. So I would say now, post COVID, I'm doing a lot more online networking than I was previously.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think we all have gone through that to some extent. Some
Mhm.
people went back to doing more in person, depending on what they were doing. Some people are like, I like this online. I like not spending so much travel time because that
Mhm.
is, I would say that is the biggest downside
Mhm.
to in person is the travel time and the yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's time consuming, and when I was networking in New York City, I was always networking right after work. So I was already in Times Square. And Times Square has all the subways. You could go to the east side, the west side, uptown, downtown, right in Times Square. So, I mean, why would I even think about doing something online when I'm right in the heart of everything and I can just hop on either a cab or a train and get to where I need to go? And it's nice. It's really nice when you do entrepreneurial networking in New York City. The vibe is very different. You meet so many interesting people, so ambitious and so creative. It's very inspiring for me to be around people like that. So I really enjoyed it.
Would you say you're more introverted or extroverted, and how does that affect the way you choose to network?
I think from doing it so often, I think I've become more confident with my networking. So I probably say a little more extroverted than I used to be. As I said, from doing it so often and meeting so many different people and getting used to introducing myself and talking about what I do and listening to what they do, and it's just gotten easier. You don't feel that uncomfortableness that you probably would feel if you've never networked before or haven't had too many events that you've gone to.
What would you say are the best ways to get the most out of networking events?
I would say try to, speak to people around you that look interesting, that maybe has something that stands out to you. Like I remember when I used to do events in New York City, there was always a very tall man with fedora on his head, and he looked very interesting, and I so enjoyed talking to him, and I would see him repeatedly at events, and he was so popular because he was the only person in the room that walked around with a fedora, and he wore it so well, and he got so much attention for it because he was so unique. So that means a lot when you're networking. If you have something on or wearing something or piece of jewelry, a pin, a hat, a scarf, whatever it may be. If there's something unique that you have on, it's memorable to people, and people will find it inviting. They really will. So I think that's an interesting tidbit to share.
Yeah, it definitely helps to stand out a little bit at networking events, and I've seen people do it in various ways.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
What would you say are the best ways to get the most out of coffee chats?
So the virtual coffee chats are a wonderful way to get to know somebody. And I find that the less I talk and the more that I listen, I really get to know who they are, what they're about, how I can work with them. Without worrying about, trying to sell my products, sell my service, sell myself, whatever it may be. I think just listening is really a key factor in trying to get to know somebody and to build relationships with them. Because you're really getting to know that person and what they're about and what they're looking for, to see if it's something that, you think that you can fill a gap for them and they can fill a gap for you, But I think listening is a really a big factor in building relationships.
I would agree. It's absolutely important because if you don't listen, you don't even have a relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So getting comfortable being uncomfortable is part of the entrepreneur skill set. What
Mhm.
helped get past that when things felt uncomfortable for you?
So, if I feel like the conversation really isn't going anywhere, or if I feel like I'm not a good fit for them or they're not a good fit for me, then I excuse myself and I move on to speaking to someone else in a very, very polite way. When you're there, everyone has an agenda. Um, People want to meet people and people want to make progress. Making progress is very important. So I can understand that if you are talking to somebody or they are talking to you and they feel that they're not a good fit for you, they politely excuse themselves. And it's been done to me millions of times, just like I've done it to other people. And with networking, everybody wants to meet as many people as they can for that event in that time. So it's like you can't think of anything or take anything personally because you understand, what everyone wants to do. Everybody wants to make progress. So I think that's important. And not waste and wasting time is not something you want to do.
What have you found is the best way to balance doing the networking with the other things in your business and life?
Well, as you can see, I am not just a networker. I'm an artist and a designer. I'm working on my second book. I'm an advocate. I'm a dog mom, so I've got quite a few things. Plus, I just started with this wine company, so I'm trying to sell wine and organize tastings and that kind of thing. So I've got a lot of things going on. And as I was telling you earlier, I just got into tarot reading and I started taking a class with tarot reading. I found a new metaphysical store right in my neighborhood that I absolutely fell in love with. And tonight I'm doing a sound bath. So, I've got a lot of different hobbies that I love to engage in. And I find time for networking when I can. And I always have on my calendar at least one networking event a week. Oftentimes more than one, especially now that I'm really trying to get my product out there, get my wine out there, so it's much more than just one event. But then I've got other things going on. I've got doctor appointments and I have a dog I take care of and that kind of thing. So I always try to make sure that there's a minimum of at least one online networking event that I do for the week. And almost every day I'm posting on my socials about wine. There's always a new bottle of wine that I want to introduce to my socials, new pricing that I want to introduce to my socials, new coupon codes that I want to offer to my followers, So if I'm not actually at an event per se, I'm still selling wine because I'm selling it on my socials.
What are some of the benefits you have gotten out of networking?
Well, I think one of the real interesting things about networking is the socialization aspect of it. To me, it's always so interesting to learn about somebody new, to learn about who they are, what inspires them. And a lot of times I learn about myself just by listening to other people and having these kinds of conversations. It's like I talk through things and I find out different things that I hear myself saying that I say to myself, I bet I would not have brought that up if I didn't go to this networking event. So not only is it good for socialization, which everybody needs, because isolation is very bad, very toxic to the mind and the soul. So not only is it good for socialization, you also, by engaging with other people, you learn more about yourself too. So it's a win-win either way. I think for me, it's always been a win-win.
What are your thoughts on tapping into your intuition and how do you use it when networking?
So as I told you earlier, I started taking tarot card reading lessons at my local library, which is really, really fun. I've met some interesting people and I've heard some interesting stories, and I'm learning how to remember cards with keywords. And because of these classes, I've only had a couple of them so far. I've learned to really, really tap more into my intuition, and awareness has become very big for me. Just awareness. And when I have time, which is not that often, but when I do have time, I do like to do a 3-card spread every so often, maybe once, twice a week. And I always did a 3-card spread that was past, present, future. But then I got a guidebook and I learned a new spread for mind, body, soul, which is really interesting. And then when I do not have a lot of time, but I still want to do a little tarot reading, I'll pull a card for the day. And it's interesting. And I think the more that I do these tarot cards, the more my intuition is untapped. You know what I mean? It just comes more to the surface, and it just brings more awareness to me. So it's easy, and the awareness comes out in trying to, like kind of figure people out quicker. You know what I mean? Like when you're talking to them and you have so much more awareness than you normally did, like you can see where they're coming from so much more easier than before, for me at least.
Yeah, it is a thing that does take some development. I know when I
Uh,
started, there was like this difference between my feelings in the moment and my intuition. And sometimes I would feel one way, but my intuition was telling me something else.
mhm.
And I learned to listen to that intuition.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the feelings come from things like sales psychology. So it's like convince you to buy something that might not be right for you. You
Mhm.
tap into your intuition, then you can know, oh, this really is for me, or this really isn't. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. And it's fun. It's fun to just like let it do what it wants to do. Don't ignore it. Don't stifle it. Just let it come to the surface, because the more it comes to the surface, the more you have a better handle on your life and who you are.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Any closing remarks or things that you wanted to add?
Um As far as networking, I would say if you are a new networker, I would say the more you go and the more you engage, the better you will become, and the more comfortable you'll become with yourself. Yeah, I would definitely say that.
That's something I have found to be true as well.
Yeah.
Become much easier the more that I've done it. But
Uh,
those first few events, they were a little awkward.
yeah. Yeah. And it's a different feel when you're in person than when you are online. You feel kind of protected when you're with the computer, and when you're actually out there, actually speaking to people face to face live, it's a very different feel. So it's nice to be able to practice online, but there's nothing like meeting people face to face. There's nothing like that.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.